Hello, Internet. Welcome back to our Cataclysm Refugee Center playthrough. Last episode, we looted some houses, actually found some pretty good stuff. I'm really debating going back to fight that soldier zombie. Getting a rifle early would be super, super nice, even if we didn't have ammunition for it. I'm just not really confident we can take it with our knife spear. I'm a little worried that the armor would be too much. So, what I thought was we might look and see if we can make a better weapon and then go fight the zombie. So I don't remember what armor is best or what you're supposed to use against armored creatures. Oh, it says in the menu now. We have this DPS. We didn't have this before. This is a relatively recent addition. Versus armored, 1.66 damage. That's pretty god awful. I gotta assume that's due to it being pierce damage. We can check that by picking up some other items. So, for instance, if we look at a knife, for instance, that also is pierce. Well, it's a knife. Of course, it would be pierce damage, I guess, wouldn't it? Because you are more likely to stab with a knife than slash. Let's look at the bat versus armored, 8.7. Okay, 22 bash. What does the nail bat give us? Nail bat. It just adds 4 pierce, which isn't really going to affect armored very much. I think we take that aluminum bat and go batter this soldier zombie. Even though it's probably going to hurt us quite a bit in doing so, we can spare the health. We're quite well equipped at the moment. We've got good armor. For the most part, we have this duster, which is protecting many body parts. We still have our leg guards, though they're on their way out. Actually, we picked up a repair kit. Is that enough? Excuse me, hiccuped in the middle of my sentence very loudly. Okay. Is this repairable with the makeshift or the general repair kit? Curved needle soldering iron tailor's kit extended tool set. So no, it's a tailoring item. I thought hard arm guards, oh, they're neoprene and plastic. I see. So yeah, the miss repair kit is not going to do that. So unfortunately, our leg guards are going to break at some point. Which is going to leave our legs a bit exposed. We'll just put back on our leather pants. In fact, we found motorcycle armor while we were looting. Which pieces of armor did we find? Just the torso pieces, not the pants, unfortunately. Okay, that's okay. What's the encumbrance on this? Where is 18, 20 when full, and its protection is pretty good. We might swap to that if our vest gets damaged, but I think we have a backup Kevlar vest somewhere. So let's go bludgeon a soldier zombie. See if we can get ourselves a rifle. Oh, jeez. It's Sunday as I record this. My niece has gone home. They made a cake for my dog. My dog turned, they think, like 11 or 12. They're not sure how old he is, but he had a birthday, allegedly. I don't know. I don't follow pet birthdays. That's our little wiener basset hound, whatever he is. I don't know. He's getting older. He doesn't move as much. He lays in bed a lot. I love him. He's probably my favorite dog. Although I'm starting to like our big fat golden retriever, whatever she is, a lot more because she responds very positively. There we go. Came upstairs. Our other dog responds very positively to attention. 13 damage is pretty okay for a non-critical. Let's see if we can get him out somewhere where I can see a little bit better. Yeah, the little wiener dog, he just lays around a lot. You know, he mostly follows my one female family member around. That's who he loves the most. Just bash this guy. So he's not super affectionate anymore. Like, don't get me wrong, he'll flop over for a belly rub and he'll, crawl on you if you sit on the floor with him or whatever, but for the most part, he's not super affectionate. So no rifle is actually a huge bummer. They did nerf a while back soldier zombies to where they didn't drop rifles as much, but then I think someone changed that back to where they do drop rifles again. So maybe we just got some bad RNG here. Really nothing else we want. Unfortunately, his vest is very damaged. I'm still not a fan of the ESAPI vest. I think the bash and cut should be nerfed considerably. Other than that, really nothing that I want. We'll take the knee pads. We could clean those up. I would like the army helmet. It's plastic, though, as well, so we're going to need the Kevlar and plastic. It's going to, again, be a soldering iron or... Oh, it can use the miscellaneous repair kit. Why, though? If the hard arm guards are neoprene and plastic, Do you repair Oh, it's rigid Kevlar. Maybe rigid Kevlar could be repaired with the repair kit, and that would be why. We will take the army helmet. We could get that spruced up, and that's pretty good head protection. We'll take that. Cigar, sure. Canteen. I just don't carry canteens. I did when I started playing. I would use canteens a lot, and I would carry a sheath as well, and like a holster and all that stuff. Nowadays, I don't really do that, although with the inventory changes, holsters might be more valuable than they were previously. We'll take the sheath just for the combat knife, and we'll take the gas mask just for a pinch. Does this have eye protection? Or does this give glare protection? I wouldn't think so, but I have never really checked. No, it doesn't look like it. It wouldn't make sense if it really did. I accidentally toggled everything, so we have to go back through and pick these up again. What's the vest need to repair? It probably can't be repaired. It probably just needs to be replaced plates, but I don't know how that works, so we're just going to leave it. I don't like the item anyway. The webbing belt, nah, it's fine. We don't need that. Take the sheath. Molly pack's a little too damaged. Take the gas mask. Okay, yes. So we got some loot. Unfortunately, not really what we were looking for. Would have really liked to have gotten a rifle. Would really like to hit this gun shop, but this other human enemy is just so concerning to me that I think would get us killed. So I don't think we're going to do that. I would like to go back to base and grind skills, but I don't know what skills to grind, and we don't have materials to do a lot of the stuff I want. Let's go back. We'll make sure we get our knife spear back. Check out our books, things like that. Anyway, they made a cake for the dog, and because who doesn't want an excuse to make a cake? I did give her my unicorn toys. I don't know if I mentioned that. I bought her some stuffed unicorns on Black Friday, and didn't get to give them to her at Christmas, so she got her little unicorn toys. She just said unicorn about 600 times in response to getting them. I guess that's something kids do. She just was like, unicorn, 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 over and over and over, which I don't know kids, so I guess that's normal. All right, got our knife spear back. Let's have a look at our books, shall we? I think I dragged them outside. Spoiler alert, shouldn't keep books outside. It's really not good for them. Go ahead and sort my loot. Haven't done that in a while, so that might take a minute. What else have I been doing? Oh, I started playing this little indie game that you've probably never heard of. It's called Cyberpunk 2077. Probably never heard of it. It's a very small, indie developer that's not really, haven't had their chops yet, still finding their footing in the world. Just kidding, of course. So checking out Cyberpunk. So far, really unimpressed, frankly. Like the Witcher series is one of my favorite franchises of all time. The Witcher 2 is one of my favorite games ever, which I know is a little rough around the edges. I know not everyone likes The Witcher 2, but I love Triss, and the game was So the thing about the Witcher series, which I really, really like, is that the gameplay is very simplistic. Like, the combat is not super in-depth. Even on the highest difficulties, I was playing The Witcher 2, I was doing a dark playthrough, which I think is the highest difficulty, and it adds, new weapon sets and stuff. It's pretty neat. But even on the highest difficulty, there's a lot. You could easily get through that game pretty easily with just button mashing. So it's really simplistic, which opens up the rest of the game. So since it's a very simplistic combat system, there's not a huge skill tree that's super important. You can just focus on the story. And the storytelling in the Witcher series is fantastic. It's dark, which I really like. It takes chances that most games would never think to take. A lot of the stories are very engaging. The creature stuff is very fascinating. Witcher 3, the monster hunts were a lot of fun, little self-contained stories. Really love the Witcher series, one of my favorite franchises ever made, which I know there's some dispute over the books and that guy getting screwed out of money or whatever, but I actually don't care because his books were kind of terrible in my opinion. Really, I have no electronics books, which is what I really need here. I suppose we could raise first aid probably. Or we could get food handling 1 so we could actually make eggs. So let's do that. It is slow because we can't really see. The sun will come up before too long and we'll be able to move outside again. We should also eat and drink when we finish this section. In fact, let's stop doing this and extinguish the fire to conserve our firewood, and we'll polish off the book here. So I love The Witcher. Big fan of CD Projekt Red. GOG, I think, is a superior game site compared to something like Steam. So like I already support the company in a lot of ways. I did not like the whole crunch time thing that came up with Cyberpunk. I also thought Cyberpunk was way overhyped. I knew it could not live up to expectations. People were just too hyped about this game, and there was no way it was going to be that good, in my opinion. Don't take that, you can take that however you want, but in my opinion, the game was never going to live up to expectations, and so I've been checking it out because I do like, in my mind, what I thought was worst case scenario, it's just going to be a crappy Deus Ex, right? There's going to be sneaky elements, shooty elements, bionics. Worst case scenario, it's just Deus Ex, but terrible. So I thought, I love Deus Ex, also one of my favorite game franchises of all time. So it made sense that I would, check it out eventually. What can I make this out of? What meat products do I have to use? M for more. Okay. Bacon. I would have to open cans for that. Everything else is cans or jars. Okay. Why don't we make 2 portions, 2 batches? It would be 6 portions. Using the pickled herring, we'd use all the pickled herring. We could probably eat it all before it goes bad. Yeah, make 2 batches of deluxe scrambled eggs using the herring. Great. And we'll just have to remember to eat them. $2.09 each. 6 spoils in 2 days. Yeah, we'll eat those before they go bad, so long as I remember that they're here. Go ahead and have yourself a drink. This is not the drink pile. This is the food pile. Have yourself a drink. Why is my food pile so light? I have so much. Go into the eat menu. I have so much stuff I just picked up. Where is everything? I remember the cornbread. Okay, it's all here. It's just the menu being scrolled down in the menu, I guess. I just wasn't looking very closely. Okay, let's have ourselves a drink. Go ahead and have yourself a beer. You murdered a soldier. Probably deserve a little something nice. Who would ever drink condensed milk? That sounds so disgusting. We should have some water in here. We probably ought to start getting gallon jugs and filling them with water and clean water, but we're okay for the time being. We should be able to extinguish the fire. What do we want to do? Do we want to loot? I've been looting so much. Like, we've just been looting and looting and looting in this series. It's such an important part, but like I also feel like I should be grinding skills, but my skills are also dependent on looting because we don't have the books I really want. I gotta imagine somewhere in here is the makeshift welder recipe, and we're just not skilled enough to do it. What is our fab up to? Is 2, 85% of the way to 3. I saw we had partial knitting needles. They won't level us up. Okay. What can I do with fab right now? Why is this yellow? What does yellow mean? Oh, we don't have the skill required. Quantitative filter paper. Separating liquids and solids. Rating of 20 microns. Okay. Sure. Die staff and spindle. That's what I usually make. I don't love getting rid of a plank for every one of them. But let's just make like 7. I mean, we're already 85%. Let's just make 5 of them. Should be fine. We did level up to 3. So we have fab 3. I don't know what you need to make the welder. We can make melt welding goggles. Let's not quick save because if the game crashes, I need to be able to load it. Let's go back to Google here. And we will check the Cataclysm item browser. Welding. No, not welding. It's the arc welder. Arc. Searching for arc. We could probably look at this, right? Probably totally allowed to do. We're looking for makeshift arc welder. You go to craft. And we go for books. Under the Hood does have it, so we will have it available. All we need to do is get to electronics level 2. That is not as easy as it sounds. Unfortunately, we don't have any books that would get it to level 2. So we will need to do some skill grinding, which means we need to source materials. And then we're going to need power converters for the welder as well. All this other stuff's pretty straightforward. I don't like that it requires duct tape. I don't think that is strictly necessary for this recipe. So don't love that, but we should go out and source materials. We should have duct tape. God, I don't know what pile it would be on. Duct. We have 400 portions of duct tape. And duct tape is pretty common these days in the clear filter there. In the junk drawers in houses. So we're going to need electronics components. Let's have a look at our electronics craftables. Oh, we don't have very much at all. Oh, that's not great. That needs a welder or a soldering iron. In fact, we don't have a soldering iron, which is also going to be a crucial component in doing this. And that sucks because we cannot actually target a soldering iron. It's not going to be something we can target unless there's an electronics shop. Can I make a soldering iron? No. Okay. That sucks. That basically means we have to loot houses until we find a soldering iron, which means we can't grind our skills, which means we can't get a welder, which means we can't work on our vehicle. Things in Cataclysm are like that sometimes. So I'm not seeing any electronics shop. They are represented in yellow as far as I know. So that's not great. No electronic shops. So other than continually searching houses, there's really nothing I can do. Man, that sucks. Okay. What is this? Storage units. Art gallery. Okay. Man, that sucks. That sucks real bad. Okay. So what you do, you go back to the item browser and, you feel bad because you closed Google during that interim period. You go back to the item browser and you look for soldering iron. Soldering iron. And we will look for the recipe and see what we need. We have the skill. Transistor. Yeah. I mean, and if we had one of these books, we wouldn't even need to make... We wouldn't be grinding electronics. So we don't have any of those, unfortunately. This recipe, again, I don't understand the need for duct tape. Everything else I get. I just don't really get the duct tape as a requirement. I guess we don't have electrical tape in the game yet, do we? So these books as well, we can't really target finding those books. We would just have to loot and hope we found one. So I guess we're looting because the main skills that we would want to grind we're not capable of grinding. Sucks real bad. Really not happy about that. What is this? Landscaping Supply Company. I don't know what you would have exactly. Presumably lumber. I think we've been there before. I just don't remember. Pharmacy as well. I didn't even notice the pharmacy. Alright, well... Let's check this row of houses. We'll go down and peek the park. Maybe they've migrated away from it. I don't know what to do. And this is what I mean about things being reliant on looting. There's really nothing we can do to raise our electronics without a soldering iron. It's going to be necessary. I'm sure it probably was in the requirements for the makeshift welder, and I just didn't notice. So, gonna need a soldering iron. We're going to go through the rear of these houses and try to insulate ourselves from too much exposure. Zombie runner, brainless, Zambi. Okay, so that runner might see us here shortly. Okay, we can lure you over the water and stuff. Maybe you'll get slowed down a bit. Or you'll path around it because you're a genius. Okay, well, you're annoying. So yeah, checking out Cyberpunk. Not very far into it. Pretty unimpressed. The character customization was definitely not impressive. I thought was really poorly done, in fact. Whereas most games give you sliders these days, this game, unless I missed the option, maybe it exists. It was really baffling to me that they didn't use sliders and stuff. It was just preset, like, which nose do you want? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Which eyebrows do you want? 1, 2, 3, or 4? And maybe there was an option in there somewhere for sliders and I just missed it. There's a lot of freaking chickens. Surely this means some eggs hatched. There's no way this is just coincidental chickens. How frightened are you of humans, by the way? Not super frightened. The other ones will get spooked if I attack this one, though, I think. So let's just kind of harass it into a corner. Can you see me? Can see to my current location. So let's just corral it north. Now it's running pretty significantly. And let's see if we can get it away from the other chickens. I would like to murder this chicken. We haven't really eaten a lot of meat. And I would love to get just a smidge of meat. And we murdered it to the point where it was pulped. So we got a scrap of meat. That's right. We've talked about this in previous episodes. I didn't think the amount of meat you get... I mean, we're going to full butcher because it's small enough, right? Okay. Yeah, all we got were scraps of meat. I don't know about you and like your experience with chickens. There's enough. Like a scrap of meat is a tiny amount of meat. A chicken would provide at least one chunk of meat. You know, it just... And we can cook those scraps. I'm not interested in doing so. All right. Let's go to the road and see what's out here. All these chickens are actually a good sign. Get that cursor out of here. Because it means that there aren't a lot of zombies in the area, or they would be tracking the chickens and murdering them. Okay. So there's the park. We do see a lot of monster density. Probably from the park. I don't really want to push down at the moment. Let's just hit these houses. Oh, I don't know if I want to go to that house. We'll play it by ear. Let's just see if we can get in this one. Looks like we've been in there before. No, looks like we're just seeing through the windows. So we'll loot all this. Yeah, so it was all preset stuff, which I really... it just seems peculiar in such a mainstream AAA game like that to have so little control over your character. And like even the cool stuff that they added, like tattoos and piercings and like future like digital kind of stuff that you can add to your character's face and body, even that stuff, it was so limited. It was like one of 3 options. So you couldn't even mix and match. You couldn't really like, I didn't want... Most of the piercing options are like full facial piercings. So like if you select option 1, it's like 7 piercings in your head. And I was like, yeah, I don't really want that. I want like 1 nose piercing or 1 lip piercing. And I'm going through and every option is like 10 piercings. And then the only other options are just 1 or 2 earrings. And it's like, you know, you could at least let us mix and match them. Like it's such a simple, even if you're going to do the preset thing, you could add more presets. Why is there only like 4 presets? So really unimpressed, although you can customize your penis size. So there's that. That's pretty top of the line. Is pretty interesting. Yeah, I was really unimpressed with the character creation. Really disappointed, in fact. I was excited to play a game like Deus Ex where I could actually customize the character. Obviously in The Witcher you don't get to customize Geralt. So I was excited to see like the character customization and such, and was pretty unimpressed. Pretty unimpressed with the game itself so far. I've only played maybe 45 minutes, doing a lot of the tutorial stuff, and so far, yeah, it just feels like it's super linear so far. My understanding is that it is an open world game. I just haven't gotten to the open world part of it yet, and yeah, first impressions not very good. The gameplay feels fine. The fighting I don't like so much. Some of the, even with headshots, you know, it seems like you have to shoot people kind of a lot, which I don't love. I'm hoping that's just the tutorial stuff. Hopefully the human enemies are not like that. But yeah, not loving it so far. Just you know, it's a lot of world building stuff, which is totally fine. That's how the beginning of games usually are. I'm just not super impressed with it. You know, and I don't think I'm on the highest graphic settings because my computer is not great. I was surprised it even runs as smoothly as it does, which is a point in its favor. I of course have the GOG version. I don't like Steam very. Is it even on Steam? It probably isn't, right? Because it's like a CD Projekt Red game, and they are like, you know, heavily involved with GOG. I don't know. But I have the GOG version. I love GOG. It's a much better platform in my opinion. Plus, you can download offline installers, which I really like. I like having a hard drive full of games so that even if GOG up and disappears one day, I have, you know, backup standalone installers for all my games, which I really like. I'm a big fan of They also like long term for software preservation is good. If Steam ever disappears, there are going to be thousands upon thousands of games that vanish and will not be, re-attainable. From a software, protections perspective, GOG is a really good thing. I love GOG. And I'm hoping we did pick up What's a Transistor there. Not only does that give us access to the soldering iron recipe, but it will also presumably raise our skill to level 3. So that was a very good find for us. Yeah, like I just love The Witcher. I like the dark. I like that they had the balls to do like darker story elements and really sad things. I like the adult themes. Like I'm not a super huge like I don't partake really in like sexual stuff or sexual games. I don't do that. I did that when I was a teenager. But I really like having games that have the stones to have a little nudity in them when it makes sense. Now, don't get me wrong, The Witcher is horny AF, and it's not always a very natural fit. Like, oh, I need to go talk to this witch. Oh, she just happens to be bathing with her top off. Of course, of course she's bathing. Why? You just wanted to work nudity into the story. So there are times when I don't like it, but I like when games are more adult themed and like. So many games cater to young people and are like, it's just not how, they'll avoid taking the dark turn because, oh, we're going to alienate the audience or we're going to make everything bubbly and happy and colorful. And it's like, it's okay to be dark. It's okay to be adult themed. It's okay to have, characters' deaths and sorrow and pain. Those things are acceptable. They are part of the human condition. And so the Witcher series went there. I'm hoping Cyberpunk does as well. I don't know how much time I'm going to devote to it. I don't think I like it that much, but I'm hoping once I get into it, it will play a lot like a Deus Ex game where I can kind of get into the stealth and sneaky and hacking and all that kind of stuff. And bionics are super cool. I'm still not sure what exactly. I haven't seen anything about bionics from the game, so I don't know what the systems are or anything like that, but really excited that it could be good. Hoping for the best. So we're at 28 minutes. We're going to call the episode. Oh, I didn't even get a question in this one. Well, no one cares. No one's answering the questions anyway. Everybody, thanks for watching. Hopefully you had a good time. I will be back with more Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead in the near future. But for now, that's it. See you next time.